Welcome to Jets Rewind. I am Marty Shupak. I'm in Valley Cottage, New York. I'm joined by Ray Clifford, who's in Marysville, Ohio. Ralph Sharega has the day off as he is hiking the mountains in the Arcadian National Park in the great state of Maine. Ray, how you doing?
Good. I mean, hey, we're 1-0.
You're doing better than me. I got to start because I know you're gonna kill me and hit me.
Yeah.
Um, I got to tell you this after last night, and we're going to get into the game a little, who played well, whatever. But Zach Wilson, I'm going to tell you this: between last year, Matt Cavanaugh, the offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur, I'm sorry, Mike LaFleur, the offensive coordinator, Matt Cavanaugh, the quarterbacks coach. They bring in John Beck, his personal quarterbacks coach, and Robert Saleh. This guy hasn't learned a thing. For him not to go out of bounds last night was like, I got to tell you, the Jets have the two dumbest players in the NFL history. One is Quincy Williams for that hit out of bounds, and Zach Wilson for not going out of bounds himself, trying to get an extra yardage, the first quarter of a meaningless exhibition game. I'm beside myself. And I know it's a knee-jerk reaction, Ray, but I'm ready to move on from this guy. I just can't take it. I mean, and it started with that interception. I want a quarterback that sees the field too, but I want a quarterback that has some common sense and instinct and knows what to do. And I don't care if this stems from last year when he heard and read about those 2 or 3 times where he went down too soon on the scrambles. He's got to know in a meaningless first exhibition game, the first quarter, the franchise quarterback, for you to try to get an extra yard or two to show you're a macho type of quarterback, there's no excuse for that. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to move away from him. I can't take it. We're going to be going through this every year with this guy. I'm done, Ray. I am just livid. I had a lousy night's sleep. First time in the history of my life, the Jets won a game. I know it was an exhibition game, but I couldn't sleep because this Zach Wilson move was the stupidest thing I ever saw in my life. And again, I to me, let's go. I see you and Ralph were going back and forth about Jimmy G. I go, let's get Jimmy G. I'll give up a second-round pick. At least we have a quarterback that knows what he's doing. All right, Joe Flacco, I don't think he's the guy. He couldn't do anything when he was in Denver. I am livid. I told my wife this morning, stay away from me till after the podcast. You have no idea, Ray. I just am going BS on this whole Zach Wilson move.
Okay. I'll say this much, Marty. It might be the preseason in the first week, but you are in mid-season form. You were texting me on the first drive going crazy. I just like, what are your expectations in week one? Now, let me address one thing at a time. And let me start with Quincy Williams. That was typical Quincy Williams. He's in mid-season form too. Stupid play. But it was, as dumb as it was, I wasn't shocked by it because that's just how Quincy Williams is. He hasn't learned a thing.
Ray, wasn't he was called for that? It was a bad call when I was with you when they played in London. Remember that?
Kept
going.
Yeah, but that was all. And that was not like this one.
No, that wasn't his fault.
That was not anything to like this one. This
was
the guy was way out of bounds, and I think I honestly think he just lowers his head when he's getting ready to hit somebody and doesn't even see where he is on the field. That's the way, because I mean, he didn't try to pull up in the least, and he was so far out of bounds. So, okay. And that was a killer because that would have ended that drive with probably a field goal attempt. And instead they easily went into the end zone. And as same thing happened on the next drive after the interception. But so that one was a little frustrating to me because I thought, he even spoke himself about wanting to be more of a player on the field and not somebody just looking for the big hit. And there he went looking for the big hit. And you don't want to do that to the starting quarterback of the other team in the first preseason game. And the Eagles were pretty fired up about it, and rightfully so. Now with Zach, I think you're, well, first of all, we aren't moving on from him. I'm waiting to hear the outcome. The only reason the Garoppolo discussion came up was because as much as it didn't look bad, I, being in Ohio and having met Kajana Carter, because he went to a high school here in Ohio after the draft when he was drafted #1, and watching his first game, and he goes down, his knee buckles without being hit on, like, I think his third play. And after the commercial break, he's on the sideline running, and we're all like, oh, thank God. And then the next day, MRI, he had a blown out knee. Now, I don't think Zach's is that bad. It didn't look like his knee buckled much, but you just don't know until they've checked it out. And I haven't heard any updates, so I'm waiting to hear for sure what it is.
Just to interrupt you, just if you see me looking down my phone, I'm on
Trying to track.
Samini's Twitter feed, so I just keep refreshing just to see the latest. And he just read, like, and I guess everyone knows from last night, that the Jets don't think it's a ACL.
All right. I think it's probably a sprain, maybe.
Well, they thought it could be the same thing that he had last year.
Yeah.
Which will shelve him for a few weeks. But
yeah, that one didn't look as serious compared to the one last year. Last year actually looked way worse.
I'm not saying there's no such thing as a good or bad injury, but my experience is following the NFL, Ray, it just seems the non-contact injuries always seem to be so bad. It's just,
yeah, a lot of them are. I mean, like we saw it in the Super Bowl with OBJ. So
right. And in fact, the Vinny Testaverde, when he blew out his Achilles. But so give me more of your take on what was the point of him.
Well, I think, I think, it's not like the Jalen Hurts thing, and it's not like he's kind of he was doing what a typical runner would do, and he's a runner. He had him where he wanted to be, and he's not thinking, hey, this is the first preseason game when we watch. He really wasn't in danger of taking a bad hit. And I thought actually it wasn't that bad. I mean, he could have gone out of bounds and I'd have been fine with that too. But the fact that he didn't, to me, wasn't a big deal, because I don't think he did it going. I wasn't looking at it going, you weren't going to get anything anyway, and you were going to take a hit. I think had he not hurt the knee, he'd have been still going down the field. But to me, that was a whole different. To me, I didn't think that was the kind of run where I was looking at him going out of bounds. And I don't care if it's preseason. It's a game. And once they're in the game, they're looking at it like any other game. They aren't. It's competition. He isn't thinking, okay, let's go out of bounds. Now, he could be thinking that when he's along the sideline and might be taking a hit rather than just to get a couple yards. He isn't doing that. He was actually looking to make a move the inside and go down the field further. And I didn't have a problem. I didn't think it was the kind of run where he had to go out of bounds. I thought he had the guy lined up in front of him. He was doing a little, shake and bake and going to go around him, and whatever happened. I don't know, but that wasn't the kind of run that bothered me, like, taking some other hits that I've seen. So I didn't have a problem with that. I'm concerned if it turned into an injury, but that I was more concerned by how our defense didn't look all that great. And the offensive line was okay, but it wasn't great by any means. And we had the issues we saw last year.
Well, Ray, let me just say this. You thought that Jalen Dan Marino Hurts was he looked pretty good, huh? He was he went right down the field, 7 for 7, and it was just like
and the guys were wide open,
just like last year. It's just the same garbage.
But I think it's a case where we got a lot of new guys to the defense, new guys in the NFL, and they've got to, it's going to take some time to get them all on the same page. And the Eagles are a good team. I mean, they've got a lot of
They
weapons.
are. No, what that I know.
You know, and I'll tell you what, Cam Jurgens is going to be a hell of a center. The guy couldn't quit talking about Ross Tucker couldn't quit talking about him, but he was right. I mean, that guy, he looked outstanding. Was it in our mock draft that was Ralph the one who wanted Jurgens, or was that
he's from Nebraska, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was a
he looked really good.
Another mistake.
But,
Ray, I thought I heard this week. I think I have the right quarterback. Did I hear that Justin Herbert has never taken a snap in the preseason? Have you ever heard that?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I didn't hear anything like that.
Yeah,
but
I thought I heard
they might have been talking about the first game of the preseason. I don't know if they meant the whole preseason.
I'll look it up, but that's the trend where everything is headed for these quarterbacks. Though they reduced the exhibition season from 4 to 3, you're going to see less and less starters. I know Tom Brady's taking a personal leave for a few weeks.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't play the first game.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't play the first game. Yeah. So I think you're going to start to see this more and more.
A couple of things about that. One, with Aaron Rodgers, he had an interesting take. He said, I don't see the purpose of going in and playing one series, doing all that prep and playing one series and then coming out. If I'm not going to play at least a quarter or the first half, then he goes, I don't want anything to do with it, which I thought was good. I mean, I don't get it either. What does one series tell you? I mean, but I think a lot of it with Herbert, with Rodgers, with Brady, guys like that, well, they're in the same offense. They know the offense. They don't have to get on. They don't have to have a lot of practice. They can get it all in practice time as well as they can in a game, and they aren't taking the hits. So those guys, it's like Joe Burrow. I know he's had the appendix thing, and they're all like, when can he get back on the field? I don't care if he's not on the field till week 1, snap 1. Joe Burrow will be ready to go, and he'll be fine. And
Ray,
these
we're
guys,
getting a little feedback. Do you have something on in the background at all? No.
TV, but it's not real well. I'll turn it off. All right. So basically with guys like that who have been in the same system for a couple of years, I don't think it's a big deal to them to not play much in the season.
All right. Let's look. When Becton went down, the preliminary was that they didn't think it was serious, and it was serious.
Very.
Zach went down. The preliminary right now is it's not that serious. So let me give you 2 scenarios. If it is not that serious and he's going to miss 4 weeks, what is the game plan? If it turns out it is serious and he's done for the year, what's the game plan, Ray?
Well, hard to say because they're a little, they're tied down by salary cap and all those issues. But I would say if it's 4 weeks, they're going with either Flacco or White, and they're going to try and get through the 4 weeks and hopefully pull a win or 2 out of it if they can. It's going to be a tough first 4 weeks. Everybody we face in that NFC North is tough, or AFC North is tough, but if it's the whole season, then they got to make a decision. Do you want to go, keep going with White and Flacco, or do you want to, the debate with me and Ralph was, I said, should we make a play for Garoppolo? And I'm not talking long-term. They could do him as a 1-year rental if they wanted to. I mean, they'd have to make it something where Garoppolo would be agreeable to it. He probably would want to go somewhere and get a new contract worked out. But I said, throw a late round pick at the Niners on August 30th, because I think on the 31st is when they have to release him if they want to save that cap money. So everybody said they're either gonna make a trade or they're gonna release him, one or the other.
Ray, he's gonna get a 2nd or 3rd round pick for him. I think they're just biding their time.
Well, they are biding their time, but you got to figure it's going to be a team that needs a quarterback. So,
I'm again, I don't know. I don't, follow Adam Schefter or listen to the NFL Network like you, but I'm just guessing that a team like Cleveland might be interested.
Well, now they might be because,
and a team like Like
There are several teams.
Miami Dolphins might be interested. Who else comes to mind for you? Houston?
I don't think Miami's going to, because I think Miami's at about their limit on the cap, aren't they?
Okay. I don't know. Okay. Who else do you think would be interested in Jimmy G?
Seattle.
Absolutely forgot about that. Anyone else?
There are some other teams, but I think the two that would interest him the most would be Cleveland and Seattle.
Right.
But I'm just saying, don't give up a lot. I mean, just make if nobody's doing anything, do the typical Bill Belichick thing and throw a late round pick at somebody late, at them late. They aren't going to put that 25 million on their cap. They're going to get rid of it because they want to be able to sign guys and extend guys like Deebo Samuel got his money. So they're going to dump him one way or the other. But the part of the reason they might trade him, but part of the holdup is these teams are wanting them to pay a good chunk of his salary, and they want to basically be free of him completely. Well, the only way that's going to happen is if they cut him, because otherwise they're going to have to take a chunk of that salary off everybody's hands for that 1 year.
Yeah. I'm just looking. Last year he had 20 TDs, 12 interceptions, a completion percentage of 68%. The year before, I guess he missed games because of COVID. I don't know. He only played 6 games, so we'll discount that. He had 7 TDs, 5 interceptions. But the year before that, 27 TDs and 13 interceptions. Is that the Super Bowl year?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. And I think the biggest knock on him was in the Super Bowl. He missed that receiver who was open long.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I mean, but
yeah,
you pointed a lot of things. That game was easily winnable, but
right now, I don't know, and we'll get right back to the Jets in a second. They just signed. We're going to get into Duane Brown if we have time for 2 years, $22 million. So we're talking about a lot of money that's being spent right now. And one of the advantages when you have, as we all know, a rookie quarterback there, you had the 5-year window, try to build up other places. But in my mind, and I guess Ralph wasn't for Jimmy G and you were.
Yeah, he doesn't want him. And I understand. I mean, I'm not the biggest Garoppolo fan, but I'm thinking he knows the offense. He's San Fran, he knows the offense. We wouldn't have to, other than the language, we wouldn't have to coach him up much. So
I got to get something off my mind. I wanted the Jets to take Mac Jones. Joe Namath was right. I can't help it.
you're not going to get me to agree with you on that one.
I know.
You like looking at how guys do on other teams and think he'd be doing that with us.
I think if you put Mac Jones on the Jets with their personnel, they're a playoff team. I really believe that. I think the Jets have better personnel. The Jets have better personnel than the Patriots.
Playoff team.
Mac Jones
with our offensive line.
Yes.
Jones was going to the playoff.
Yes, because he sees the field. He knows how to get rid of the ball. And I really believe they're a playoff team.
They protected him pretty well last year. Their line was better than ours. He had time back there. That offensive line of ours last year, and so far, what I can see this year, he'd have no time, and he's not mobile at all. He's less mobile than Flacco. He's like the most immobile 22-year-old, whatever.
I love the guy. I think he's a good quarterback. I know. I
didn't say he's not a good quarterback.
I go around.
I don't.
You being Ralph, go around in circles. And I know Joe Namath is biased. He was from Alabama, but anyway, it's spilt milk. What are you going to do? Yeah. All right, the game last night. A couple of stars for people. I thought Tanzel Smart did pretty good on the defensive line. I thought our guy Lawrence Cager.
I was just gonna say that.
Tight end. He is good.
He made the best catch of the game, but it got called back on a penalty. But what a catch!
Well, you know who that penalty was on?
It was on
Denzel Mims for not lining up correct. It's the same garbage over and over.
That happens all the time. I'm not gonna kill him.
No, but
that happens all the time.
It happens.
And okay, I'll tell you what, Marty. In the regular season, when when Garrett Wilson gets that same penalty, I'm going to say, should we cut him? Because
Okay. All right. And
it's going to happen.
okay,
Guys all the time, they don't cover up. They cover up the tight. It happens a lot. Yeah, I know what you're saying. What bothered me about Mims was he got called for, was it that one or another one? And the very next play, they threw the ball to him and it went right through his hands.
I remember that at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I was like 2 plays in a row. I'm like, this is, and now he looks like he's moping.
Right.
That's what bothered me.
All right. Well, I was going to go to Garrett Wilson, but just one thing about Lawrence Cager, Ray, of course, they're not going to carry 5 tight ends.
No.
But and it's too early to tell, but just, I like to have fun with this. Gun to your head. Who would you rather have, Lawrence Cager or Kenny Yeboah?
Cager, from what he showed there. I mean, Yeboah looks a little bigger and everything, but he still doesn't do much to impress me. And Cager impressed me.
Yeah, well, Cager, when you say bigger, I mean Cager is taller.
No, I mean, like, to me, Yeboah looked like he put on a little more weight.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I thought he looked a little bulkier in the couple times I saw him.
Cager put on like 10, 15 pounds,
Yeah.
but
Cager looked good.
He looked really good.
For a guy who's just becoming a tight end, I thought, man, he would get snapped up off the practice squad. He's doing stuff like that in games.
Yeah, and what's funny is this fourth stringer, the quarterback, Chris Straveller, who threw 2 TD passes. If you notice, a couple of his passes, it was just like a wrist flip.
Really? He did one that I didn't even understand, a real short one, and he threw it to the guy anyway, and it didn't get intercepted. It didn't get caught. And I was just like, then I remembered we picked him up late and he was in the Canadian Football League. But boy, when he took off running, that was, he's definitely mobile.
It's just so you know, I guess he went to where, North Dakota or South Dakota? What are those schools?
I think North, but I could be wrong.
Well, because
Trey Lance was in North Dakota too. So
maybe it was, but it was the whole state's going crazy about him. They're calling him the new Kurt Warner, so which is cute. But anyway, Ray, even though he only caught 2 passes, Garrett Wilson, that guy is boy, he's a talent.
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface on that guy.
Yeah,
when he starts making plays, people are just going to be stunned.
Yeah, it's going to be a great combination. Jimmy G to Garrett Wilson. Jabari Zaninga, Ray.
Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jabari Zaninga. I thought he was very active. He looked very good. He's got I'll tell you, his first step is incredible.
Yeah.
And I know he was in the doghouse of injuries for was it 2 straight years, but this guy looked good.
Looks like he's and where'd Michael Pirine come from? I forgot he was on the team.
He's on my list too. I'm going to get to him. But the next player, Ray, and I owe you an apology. You were right, and I think I was wrong. But Michael Clemens, he had a sack, and he's very good. Now, it was against the second and third stringers.
Yeah.
But again, you could see this guy. This guy, he makes his presence felt. I thought he was really, really good. Jamie, go ahead.
No, I said, we'll see. I mean, it's if he keeps making plays, I'll be happy. That means he's rounding into shape.
Yeah. Jamie Sherwood had a good game. He made 1 bad play, but besides that, he was in on a number of tackles. I think he had 5 or 6 tackles. And LaMichael Pirine, 51 yards rushing, Ray. I don't think he makes the team.
I don't either. And that was against the second and third teamers.
Right.
Too, so, but still, I mean, it was good to see him look active.
Yeah, it really was.
I'll say this is the one thing about the game that bugged me, and it was on the defense. They still can't get off the field. When it was the starters, they couldn't get off the field. I mean, we could have, except for Quincy Williams making his play. That was 3rd down, and it probably would have been a field goal attempt. But they were converting everything in those first 2 drives.
I have a what do you call it when something comes in the news? It's an alert, news alert, or whatever. Just from Rich Cimini. Zach Wilson has a bone bruise and a meniscus tear in his right knee, as per Brian Cause. I guess that's Costello. He's sidelined 2 to 4 weeks. Important to note, the meniscus doesn't need a full repair, just trim per source. So if you're a Zach Wilson fan like Ray and Ralph, that's great news. And if you're not a Zach Wilson fan like Marty Shupak, I guess it's still good news, but it's good for Zach Wilson. Listen, I hope to God, Ray, in 5 years, I could turn around in my rocking chair and said, Ray and Ralph, you guys were right. I was wrong about Zach Wilson. So 2 to 4 weeks, Ray. So what's your reaction to this
Well,
breaking
first,
news
my
from
reaction
yesterday?
is Ralph has been the one who's been Zach Wilson from the get go. I'm once guys are on the team, I'm all about giving them, our opportunity to prove themselves. So once we drafted him, he's a Jet, and I'm gonna hope, and I'm gonna try and look at him realistically.
I listen, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I
well,
wish I was
obviously
wrong
we all
about
do,
back then.
but
I wish I was wrong about back then, but I was
yeah.
100% right. I
Well,
wish I was wrong about
well, wait, Marty Becton's career, I don't think is over. And I'm not sure he's even done as a Jet yet, even though, you are.
it's over. Trust me,
Well,
it's over.
okay.
I
Well,
told you
when
during
you
the
become
camp.
the GM, Marty, then
I,
we'll
if you
go.
remember, we have it on tape. When he was injured, I said he won't play another snap this year. The Jets. You and Ralph attacked me. I was right
I
there.
attacked you. I attacked you.
I'm going to be right with this. All right. So again, just to repeat, just breaking news: Zach Wilson has a bone bruise and a meniscus tear in his right knee. He's sidelined 2 to 4 weeks. Today is August 13th. There are, as we enter the fourth quarter, there are 18 days left, Ray, right in August. The first game is September 11th. So that's 29 days. That's 4 weeks. That's the high end. When it says 2 to 4 weeks, I always think 4 to 6. I would say this: I don't think he's going to start the first game against the Ravens. I would say it would be Joe Flacco. What's your feeling?
Um, Probably, unless it's the lower end one, unless it ends up being 2 or 3 weeks. If he doesn't play in that last preseason game, I can't see throwing him in there in week one. Um, if it's the high end 4 weeks, then no, I don't think he will play the first game. Whether or not it's Mike White or Flacco, I don't know, but it's going to be one of the two.
Let me just tell you something. Put it in concrete. It's always with the Jets. It's always the high end.
All right.
Trust me on that. You got to figure 4 weeks at the minimum.
So we got to come up with this way, Marty, of holding you accountable for your guarantees.
You like these?
Because it's too easy for you to just go, oh, I admit I was wrong. We got to come up with a penalty for Marty.
If it was Tom Brady, he'd be back in like 2 weeks. Zach Wilson, a New York Jets, going to be back in 4 or 5 weeks. Ray, quickly, as we're running out of time, and this is this is good because it gets it off my mind, which is great. I mean, you couldn't go near me earlier, but anyway, they signed Duane Brown, 2 years, $22 million. Let's have your thoughts first, then I'll give you mine.
I thought the price tag was a little high. He had a really underwhelming year last season. Before that, I would have said we'd be lucky to get him, if he'd have played like he did the years prior to last year. But that doesn't mean he can't have a bounce back year. I guess we're going to find out. Hopefully we're not just getting some guy just, collecting a paycheck like a Muhammad Wilkerson and he's going to, show up. And it may have been a great deal. I guess we'll find out. I'm interested to see. I'm assuming they're going to put him on left tackle and move Fant back over to right because he's played his whole career at left tackle. So I can't see them moving him. And I think Fant would be okay with that too. But until they announce it, I'm not, I'm waiting to hear, but I would assume that. But other than the price being what I thought was a little high, I think they didn't have a lot of options, so they had to go with what they thought the best option was. So I'm okay with it. Hopefully he pans out.
Again, I don't want this to be negative Nanny Marty the whole show, but I didn't like this signing at all. Last year he gave up 7 sacks, and I believe in the 30s as far as pressure. He's a year older. He'll be 37. He's not going to get better from last year. I think he'll get weaker. I hope
We
I'm
don't know
wrong. I thought maybe they could have gone with uh, uh, Brandon Shell, who's not great, but he is a right tackle. He's 30. You're gaining on age. He's 30 years old. I didn't think he was horrible. I mean, I think he's better than a guy like than McDermott. The one thing, Ray, we overlooked last year, he got time. The fourth round pick from Louisiana. What's his name?
Max Mitchell.
Max Mitchell played. He twice the defensive lineman went right around him. One was on the play that Zach got hurt. But besides that, I didn't think he was awful. I was trying to focus on him. So that's his first time in the NFL. So we'll have to see if he could develop. You never know.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
But
they might.
I don't think we want to go into the season with that guy.
No. But during the week, and as they were negotiating with Duane Brown, and I don't know if Coach Robert Saleh was using this as a negotiation ploy. He said that Max Mitchell is a lot further along than we thought. So we'll see what happens. And I was shocked. Were you surprised that he was starting last night?
A little bit. I thought they would have gone with Adoga, but Adoga, I don't know about him. He hasn't really ever shown me that he can be consistently a starter. He always seems to struggle when he gets out there against, so a little bit, but that's all right. Get him in the game. If he may end up playing a lot anyway. So let's get him going, let's see what he can do and get him rolling on the, and it's good to see it, if he struggled in his first game against a bunch of starters, that's kind of to be expected.
Right.
And he probably would have played a lot better had they put him in the third quarter.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It's tough.
I'd rather see him be challenged and see how he reacts.
Right.
And like you said, other than those couple plays, he didn't do bad. So
He didn't do bad at all. I was especially happy with a couple of running plays. The running wasn't great, obviously, in the first one. The one thing I want to mention too, he didn't get really positive yardage, but on one play, Brees Hall showed some move.
Yeah, he's got him, and actually Michael Carter didn't look bad either. I thought the running backs didn't, we aren't giving a whole lot of room.
Right. The one thing I want to mention to you, maybe it was me, but did it seem like their sideline was like too much like Animal House having like a fraternity party? It seemed they were
Eagles or the Jets?
Laughing. The Jets.
Because all I saw were guys on the Eagles sideline eating out of a snack bag.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But to me, it was like party time for the Jets.
I think they're all excited about the first game and getting out there. And I mean, don't get me wrong, when they're on the field, they're taking it serious. But I think that first game is just like, let's get some reps in and have some fun and enjoy it. I think it'll get more.
Another pet peeve, I say it every year during an exhibition game. I know CBS that carries it in New York, they want to provide coverage and interviews. I can't stand when a play is made and they go right to the sideline to say,
Michael. Were you in the Eagles feed or
I had the Jets feed.
Oh, well, I had the Eagles feed.
Oh, you had the Eagles feed. Okay. So
that's what the NFL Network showed, was the Eagles feed. So I had to listen to the Eagles sideline reporter.
What happens is, like, after the first half, after every second or third play, they go right to the sideline with this good reporter from CBS, and they'll interview like Michael Carter or any other Jet, and you miss the replay, and you don't even get the name of the player that made the play on defense.
They were doing the same thing.
It drives me nuts. It really does.
The Eagles feed, they were going to that guy, and that was driving me nuts. I don't want to hear feel good stories. I want to hear guys talking about what they're hoping the season will be. We all know what they hope the season will be. Let's just watch the game.
All right, Ray, we're going to close this out again. Just to repeat for the third time, Zach Wilson has a bone bruise and a meniscus tear in the right knee, as per Brian Costello, and he's sidelined 2 to 4 weeks. And it's important to note the meniscus doesn't need a full repair, just trim. It's really not that serious. So all you Zach Wilson fans out there should be happy. And we're going to close this out for Ray Clifford, as I am going to run over and put my prop bet 25 to 1 for Mac Jones to be MVP this year in the NFL. Ray, until next time.
All right. Enjoy wasting your money.